Hello there, Regina Irubi here. Welcome back. It's been a hot minute. If you're single trusting God for marriage, then this video is for you. I know that the content space is saturated with many things concerning singles and how to get a man and how to position yourself for this and that and 5 ways to get found, etc. However, I encourage you to listen to this video because I'm going to be approaching things from a very different perspective. Merry Christmas! And if you're still single at this point of the year, I'm sure you may have actually asked God exactly when. I'm tired of waiting. If you're trusting God for the gift of marriage, then here are 3 questions I invite you to ask yourself and answer sincerely, because as you ruminate over it, you might just find the key to open the door to the next level. Number 1, are you setting yourself up in such a way that if God blesses you with the key or with the gift of marriage, you will continue to function in purpose? I find that many people think that finding the right man is the ultimate. But from God's perspective, finding the right man is just one part of the equation. What is the guarantee that when you get into the marriage, you're not going to get swallowed up with the responsibilities and the demands of marriage, that you then shelve your purpose and you put your purpose aside? It's a capacity thing. If you don't have the capacity to handle both the gift of marriage and the gift of purpose and walking in purpose, many times God is going to put a pause to that request until you come to a place where you realize that you have to begin to ask yourself the questions, and most importantly, set the systems that ensure that when you walk into marriage, you will not just be blessed with the gift of marriage, but you will know how to execute purpose even in marriage. And it looks very different than what it currently looks like for you in your single season. It is sometimes tricky, and little wonder many women get married and it looks like they just fade away. No one hears anything about them anymore, even though they're incredibly gifted and anointed. So, God will not leave you to yourself until you have fully thought this through, and until you fully have a plan locked in on how marriage will not distract you from purpose, or a better way to put it is, marriage will not move you away from the path of purpose. Now, let me caveat here to say, when you do get married, your family, your marriage, your home comes first. But it's not the only thing. It just comes first. You will take care to prioritize it over every engagement, or over every desire, or every ambition. But you also take care to not begin to live a purposeless, flat life. So, this is a very important conversation that you need to have with yourself. Remember, God is an astute businessman. When he gives gifts, when he gives blessings, he expects multiplication. Matthew chapter 25 from verse 14, I believe, to the end, will give you more clarity on this. So make sure to look at that scripture. Remember, purpose is bigger than marriage. Everyone may not get married, but everyone sure does have a purpose. And if you doubt me, ask Jesus, ask Apostle Paul. These were powerful men that shook the earth mightily for God, but yet didn't get married. Regardless of whether you get married or not, your purpose is yours to live every day. And I want you to not forget that. So, I know you've heard this so many times, but if you're not clear on your purpose, and I dare say if you're not clear on how you want to continue to execute your purpose, even in the context of a marriage, then there's no point taking on the heavy mandate of marriage, because it does come with a lot of demands. Number 2 question I want you to ask yourself if you're a single trusting God for marriage is, have you taken the time to heal from the broken mindsets about marriage that you have normalized, either because of what you experienced or what you saw around you? I find that the most dangerous mindsets are the ones that operate within us at a subconscious level, i.e., you do not know that it's there, but it's certainly running your life. And listen, we've been introduced and exposed to a lot of dysfunction, either by what we've experienced personally or what we've seen others experience, what we've seen in society, and even what we've seen on the media. Some of these things have gotten absorbed by our minds and are now shaping the way that we see marriage and we even intend to do marriage, although at a subconscious level. And that's where it gets even more dangerous. So I want to encourage you, dig deep into yourself. there's a lot of trash that has been absorbed. But if you are a single and you're trusting God for a kingdom marriage, a Christian marriage, which by the way is very different from every other kind of marriage, then you must know that God's model and God's template must be upheld. And this model and template is so sacred, it's different from what the world proposes. So we have to actively begin this work where we allow the Holy Spirit excavate some of these toxic mindsets that can in fact sabotage our marriage and sabotage the quality of our marriages. I believe everyone has a little bit or even a little more of these mindsets, so you're not excluded. Having this mindset is not a problem. Acknowledging it is very important, and most importantly, beginning this journey of reorienting your mind and absorbing the godly standard, the godly template and model for marriage. Again, you don't know how strong the grip of these mindsets, these toxic mindsets are until you are set in the context of a marriage. Then who you truly are starts to show up in an almost embarrassing way. This is why it is important to begin to deal with those things now. I'm going to go to the next point, but I want to end with this. Remember, what is not transformed is transferred. This is the concept of generational patterns. When you see something and you don't put in the work it takes to transform it, especially something that contradicts scriptures and something that clearly sabotages you and can sabotage even the future opportunities and blessings that God gives you, if you don't work on it, it will not be transformed. And if it is not transformed, it will be transferred. And if it is transferred, that is exactly how negative patterns begin to run in bloodlines. So that is the second thing I want you to think about. The third thing I want you to think about is, what returns will your marriage bring or yield for God and for His kingdom, and how do you intend to achieve that? This might sound basic, but it's very important. Remember, we established that God is an astute businessman. And in the natural world, when you want a person to invest in you, let's say you have a startup or you have a business idea and you're trying to pitch it to a businessman who can perhaps support with funds or become a sponsor, you do realize that not only do you pitch how good that idea is and how much it will change the world, but you most importantly have to pitch what is in it for the businessman that you are inviting to invest. Think about God like that. You want God to invest in you and give you the gift of marriage. You have to show God that there is something in your marriage for Him, that if He in fact gives you that blessing, it's capable of yielding returns, it's capable of yielding fruits, it's capable of multiplying and bringing back big, massive harvest for His kingdom. So don't forget that you must be a kingdom negotiator. And to illustrate this vividly, think about Hannah. Hannah was childless, she was barren. For many years, I believe, she had prayed and trusted God. But perhaps she needed to tweak her strategy a little, which was to tell God what was in it for Him. Why was it in God's best interest to bless her with a child? Why is it in God's best interest to bless you with a spouse? Hannah struck an agreement, a deal that was almost irresistible with God. Give me a child, I will give you a vessel. Give me a child, I will give you your prophet. Of course, that deal was irresistible to God. And immediately, years of barrenness turned around almost at the snap of a finger. If you're really serious about getting married, start to think about and start to talk about with God. Start to converse and contract with Him almost about what is in your marriage for Him. Let me tell you, this is a big game changer. It will definitely unlock the door to the next level. Now let me remind you, God cannot be mocked. He sees your heart. He knows the content of everyone's heart. If you say some big, high and lofty words that you have no intentions of following through with to Him just to get His hand to move and bless you, best believe God is not dumb. He's not a fool. And He's not a blind promoter. He sees the heart of every man, and He knows those who will follow through with the words that they speak to Him in a place of prayer, just as Hannah followed through with her promise to the Lord. So, If you want to negotiate with God on how your marriage is in His best interest and how it will yield results for His kingdom, please do ensure that whatever you're saying to God, you intend to stand by it. Otherwise, this point will be moot. It wouldn't yield any fruit. It will be null and void. But it's very important that you think about it. The moment Hannah realized and engaged this one principle, boom, everything changed. If you're waiting on God, but all you want is a long list of selfish reasons for personal gain, best believe it's not a kingdom investment. And God is only about kingdom investment. He's only about furthering His agenda upon the face of the earth, not your agenda. You are too small for Him. And so only when you align with His massive, gigantic agenda that is supposed to reach out to the world, that is supposed to be a blessing to humanity, then and only then will you not even need to pray for most of the blessings that you're currently praying for, marriage and beyond. Which of these questions have you thought about? Which of these questions do you have answers to? Which of these points are completely new to you? Most importantly, which of them are you going to start working on from today? I hope that 2024 will be your year of the bride or the groom if you're a man. Enjoy the rest of your day. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.